Welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year to everyone out there. And in this video, we're going to go through DeFi looking into 2022. This is a subject area or narrative of the market that is slowly but surely picking up pace once again. A bit of a lull in 2021, a load of DeFi tokens absolutely wrecked against their Ethereum pairs, but I think 2022 will have a resurgence in the DeFi sector. So in this video, we're going to take a little look at that. Now, if you want to support the channel further, make sure you check out the pinned comment down below for Patreon. We will be doing a community call on Zoom next week. We do this bi-weekly. You can get involved or you can watch them back at a later date as we do record them. So let's just jump straight in here. So this from Noah Seidman, top follow out there. Narratives for 2022. So seamless cross-chain interoperability, cross-chain liquidity provision, and widespread deployment and iteration of the curve monetary policy, i.e. curve wars as well should come under this, as the battle for supremacy over curve and convex is becoming very apparent right now. So this is all about the DeFi areas to really look at, and we're going to go through some of these right now. But first, we'll start here over the last 7 days on CoinGecko, just looking at the biggest gainers. And so from this, you can get an idea of where the market is heading. So people are asking, are we going to be bullish or bearish at the start of this year? Well, the S&P 500 just posted a new all-time high. The Dixie, the dollar index, just took a little bit of a dip. These two things should be overall bullish for cryptocurrency. And we're starting to see that there's money definitely flowing into a load of these protocols. You don't get huge moves in multi-billion-dollar protocols like this without there being confidence from investors. So big money bags are most certainly putting down some of their funds right now into core positions. Now, if we just rattle through these quickly, you're going to see a very obvious trend. Two narratives. First, layer one, DeFi, DeFi, layer one, DeFi, 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 layer one, layer one, layer one, layer one, DeFi, DeFi. So layer ones and DeFi clearly getting quite a lot of bid. So this means that this is where big money players are positioning themselves. They're going for quality. Most of these are in the $1 billion plus market cap region. So you can see there's kind of a movement into high quality projects or ones that have good potential in the kind of narratives that can attract multi-billion-dollar investments. So let's concentrate on DeFi in today's video. So here we have the CONVEX finance chart. And I'm sure you've all heard of the curve wars, and curve CRV and convex CVX. Both of these play a very important role in determining the liquidity in the crypto markets. Crypto and liquidity go hand in hand, highly important for the overall health of markets. And so controlling where the liquidity goes makes a big difference here. So Convex, this is kind of a subsidiary to Curve, and you can get boosted Curve yields by utilizing Convex. I'm going to probably do a video on Curve and Convex separately, maybe in the next couple of days, where we can go in more depth about these two. But essentially, we're seeing Curve wars playing out here. And over the last month, we've gone from roughly $20 for Convex to around 50, 60 bucks. And then for Curve, likewise, pretty much a 2x over the last month. So what you can see here, these charts are both extremely bullish, continually just going up, posting higher lows and higher highs. I believe Curve just posted an all-time high for over the last 1 year here. If we just pull this out, yeah, this is posted a new all-time high over the last year. Obviously, the ultimate all-time high came back in 2020, but we just discount that. Convex has posted a new all-time high just 17 hours ago. So both of these tokens are ones that people want to control, and specifically DAOs. From this little tweet thread here from Jack, in recent months, protocols have realized how vital the control over the curve bribes will be to anyone who wants stablecoin liquidity. So big names like Ohm, Frax, Spell, YFI, and you can add to this the redacted cartel, Butterfly, they're accumulating CRV and CVX left and right. So this was from a video I posted just before Christmas, and we looked at redacted cartel here, the Butterfly token. So this is Tetranone's baby. CRV strategy deployed, $25 million worth of CRV converted into CVX CRV for LPing for CVX CRV factory pool. And that treasury is now yielding 35K alone in Curve tokens. So you can control liquidity and also have huge passive income streams from dominating the supply of these two tokens. And so DAOs are now buying these up. They're seeing the power of this. So getting into these kind of tokens here, where you've got DAOs buying them, you can see the list of DAOs here, and there'll be more than this, and more DAOs will be formed, and we'll start getting involved with this over this coming year. Well, that means there's just infinite bid coming in for a lot of these. So even though these are hyperinflationary tokens with huge emissions, you can see the charts are still bullish because you've got essentially not a normal trader, not me and you, buying up these tokens. You've got DAOs, and DAOs are incentivized to buy, hold, and just keep compounding, adding to their stacks to create more passive yield. They're not looking to sell these tokens. So you've kind of got a black hole for both of these. Hence the price has been shooting up. If you are wondering why these have performed so well over this Christmas period, well, that is the reason. So the curve wars, Curve and Convex, definitely heating up right now, and a key narrative to watch during the rest of this year. I think these can go a lot higher from here still. Then in terms of cross-chain liquidity provision and general just cross-chain trading, well, we have Woo here, and you can see that some of the whales are starting to position themselves into the Woo token. So prior to Christmas, we covered Woo with the WooFi BSC DEX. They just released a staking application on there as well. And we've just seen this $3.5 million worth of Woo have been bought by a known BNB whale. If you go onto whale stats, this account here follows the top 1,000 BSC wallets, so you can see where the big money is going. And also on ETH, the ETH side of things, top 1,000 ETH whales, and ETH whale just bought 1.6 million Woo, around $1.5 million. So big money flowing into the Woo token. Is up around 11% today. So that's the kind of influence that amount of bid coming in has, roughly pushing the price up 10%, 11% over a 24-hour period. Over the last 30 days, you can see the chart does look very bullish here. We bottomed out at around 60 cents after hitting an all-time high in November. Like, these markets are so volatile, it's crazy. From like $1.78 down to 62 cents in around 3 weeks. And then we've started to rebound, grinding our way up to around 67 cents, now up to around 86 cents on the lows here. And hopefully what we'll see is putting in higher highs and higher lows on the way back up. So clearly you want to follow the smart money. And for me, I just wanted to look at this because it's always good to just reiterate, are you in a good bag or not? Do you need to cut the bag? I don't believe so in the case of Woo Network. And I think 2022 will be a big year for Woo in general. So a few highlights from this prior year. They've now increased their team to 60 plus members. They did 2.5 billion in 24-hour volume. They opened up Woo Ventures. We've got some nice airdrops from some of their investments, the likes of Credo, for example. 80 plus assets listed, over 100,000 Woo warriors, 160 million Woo staked in total. They've got their DAO and got a $30 million Series A funding round as well. So plenty of bullish things on the agenda here. 27 million Woo staked and 3.3 thousand Woo holders on BSC. So that was on the 27th of December. So that was 6 days ago. And now on that staking portfolio, on that staking wallet contract, from 27 million Woo, they've now got 36 million Woo on here, and from 3,300 stakers, now up to 6,600. So you can see there's a lot of people piling in to stake their Woo over on BSC, so that will be on the WooFi application. So numbers generally trending upwards for Woo going into this new year, so all positive stuff on that front. And I think this kind of cross-chain liquidity, tapping into all the different chains, is just essential for any healthy project. And Woo wants to provide liquidity absolutely everywhere, and I'm sure they will dominate that over the course of this year, or at least increase their market share substantially. I know a lot of people are super bullish on this one going into this year. So stay tuned for Woo. I expect new all-time highs to come for this token coming up this year. And hopefully along the way, we don't get rode by Bitcoin. Then next up, Spell. So this from Danielle. So tomorrow we are burning 5 billion Spell tokens. Again, key narrative for this year is anything that Danielle is touching. And also just in general, Spell token with the cross-chain interoperability that they're building out. You're going to be able to collateralize your tokens for MIM across a load of different layer ones, I believe, this year. And they're pursuing lowered emissions right now. So Spell is a hyperinflationary cryptocurrency, as they are utilizing the token Spell to incentivize farming and a load of other things, including bribes for Curve. Again, Curve wars in here once more. Also for CONVEX voting down here as well. So you can see that all the big players in this sector have a very similar idea. So clearly this is a key area. But what they've just announced is a reduction of 20% for all of their farming allocations. So the protocol is currently emitting 332 million spell per week, and stay tuned for tomorrow's 5 billion burn. So this was the proposal put forward at the start of December. So a quick run through of this and what it means. TLDR, they're burning 5.25 billion spell tomorrow on the 3rd of January. But here's the reason why. So their emission allocation for each farm is adjusted weekly to better follow market dynamics. Very clever, makes a lot of sense. And at time of writing, the protocol currently has a benchmark emission rate of 1.1 billion spell per week. But you can see from this, quite a lot is unallocated, 52% in total. That's currently 610 million spell per week that have not been used, but they just go to a treasury pot. In the event they need to add new farms or increase individual allocations, for example, to the Curve wars, and so on and so forth. But instead of keeping the previous benchmark numbers up here until 31st of May 2022, well, this would, if they continued on this rate, they would emit a total of 29 billion spell during that time frame. But they suggest that given market conditions and the extraordinary adoption MIM has seen, they think that they've got enough liquidity and thus they don't need to emit all these tokens. So the proposal here is to start reducing this. So we'll keep emissions steady until the 3rd of Jan, emitting a total of 4.6 billion spell, after which we'll reduce the weekly unallocated portion by 250 million. So if we were to use the same regime as an example, the unallocated emissions would be lowered from 610 mil down to 360 million spell. So from January 3rd to May 31st of this year, the weekly emissions benchmark will then be lowered to 911 million spell per week. And this will result in a total emissions in the 21 weeks between January and May of 19 billion spell tokens. So we believe that this amount, together with the unallocated tokens from previous weeks, will be enough to cover all of the existing and possible new farms until May. So this reduction brings the amount of total emitted spell down to 23 billion, and this translates to an overall emissions reduction of 5.25 billion spell. So they will actually go ahead and take those emissions and burn them all tomorrow on the 3rd as this passed. So what has happened to the spell price chart? We peaked out around 3.94 cents at an ultimate peak around the 3rd of November, had a huge retrace. I've been buying the dip on this one. I've got no purchases under 1 cent, but it did actually go under there. I got a few in the low 1.3 cent region, and then it's just bounced back from there, going from roughly 0.0067 all the way up to 0.023. So a crazy recovery, doing pretty much a full market cycle in around 2 months here. And you can see from here, we got some big wicks to the upside. So I think people are bidding this one pretty hard going into tomorrow with a big burn on the horizon. So up roughly 4% on the daily, and the circulating supply will be reduced by 5 billion tomorrow. And they're making a concerted effort to consistently lower the emissions on this token. And I think the overall plan is to eventually make it deflationary. I'm not sure exactly how they'll manage that, but we know Daniel has some very ingenious ideas and things up his sleeve. So I wouldn't count against them. So in terms of these DeFi narratives here, you've got Daniele, you've got cross-chain, you've got Curve and CVX wars, and all of these things are really bubbling up here going into the start of this new year. So as many of us expect Bitcoin to start to tick up now, as we should see institutional flows of money confirm a positive uptrend over this first week of January, I would suggest. Well, once that happens, a load of these protocols are going to start moving and moving hard. So readjusting your portfolio to get into these trending narratives right about now probably makes a lot of sense. If you haven't done so already, I would definitely consider doing so prior to Bitcoin showing us the way forward. Because if we get some big bullish momentum in Bitcoin, a load of these are going to go parabolic. In my humble opinion, not financial advice and all of that. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Apologies if I look a little bit grey. Still recovering from the old Rona here, but I will see you guys again tomorrow for another episode, all being well. Catch you in the next one, guys. Goodbye.